when we're young, our subconscious mind is like a sponge. And whatever people tell us at that time, we just almost like absorb it because the intellect isn't fully developed. Our maturity isn't there. So when somebody says something about us, especially somebody in a position of authority, like a sponge, we just tend to absorb it. It's like having almost like a whiteboard, and people write on that whiteboard, and we're just absorbing it. And that programming goes into the subconscious, and it leads our life. It runs our life. And the whole idea of self-sabotage, when we notice we're doing it, means that we have to look under the hood. What is really going on there? What's there? What programming, what virus, if you like, is there that we need to take out? Okay, so a warm welcome to everybody. And we are discussing today breaking the cycle of self-sabotage. So our mission today is to look at, first of all, what is self-sabotage? Then why do we do it to ourselves? Even when we're doing it, sometimes we're just like, it's almost like we know we're doing it, but we just can't stop it. And then how to break the cycle and do it permanently. Sometimes we can go through phases where we might be better, but we want to do it permanently. Okay, so let's look at what is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is a pattern of behavior that works against our own goals and well-being. Isn't it? I'm sure we've all had the experience where we're trying to do something and then we do almost like the exact opposite, the thing that actually brings us down, even though we're trying so hard, even though we desire that goal so badly. And this includes actions like procrastination. Now, what's worse, like the worst situation is when we do it, especially in times of urgency. And the deadline is looming for closer and closer and closer. And it's like, why do I do this to myself? Then sometimes we go through things like perfectionism. And this is especially where things don't matter. If we're perfect, and then I don't know if it's a presentation or something like that, that's one thing. But if it's like, oh, I've got to make sure all the tabs align in a document that actually nobody really cares about, why are we spending hours and hours doing that and actually self-sabotaging ourselves, wasting time on things that are not necessary? And this often happens from a place of wanting to prove ourselves or not feeling good enough. And then there might be some negative self-talk or self-criticism. And especially when we talk ourselves out of an opportunity. I had one friend at university, and he really liked this girl in our course, and he kept talking himself out of asking her out. And she ended up, some other guy ended up asking her out, and they went off together. And he always had that regret at university. What if I had asked her? Even if she had said no, at least he would have had the satisfaction of knowing that she wasn't interested in him. But it's like that he never got closure on it. He would never know. And then doing the very things that undo our good work. So the classic example of this is when somebody's been on a diet for a week, and then at the end of the week, they binge eat and they probably eat more calories than the amount of calories they actually saved. So it's like everything they've done is just literally just thrown it into the bin. So why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we self-sabotage? So when we are, if you've ever noticed either ourselves or somebody else, when that person is very passionate about telling stories of their failure, or if it's you telling stories of your failure, you notice time and energy people put in to complaining. Oh, it's the government's fault, or it's my manager at work, or it's this problem, or it's that problem, it's the weather, so many things that are out of our control. That time and energy we spend complaining, what if we put that time and energy actually doing something towards our success? And notice how strong that negative energy is towards that story that we keep telling ourselves, that we're a failure, that something wrong, or it's this other person's fault. And oftentimes when I ask a client, tell me or sell me the reason why you want to be successful. Now, when they talk about all their problems, there's a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. Oh, this, that, oh, Nij, woe is me. And then when I ask them, okay, tell me about why it is that you want to achieve this goal, then the energy shifts and it's like, well, maybe this and maybe that, and if I had this, and the whole energy changes. The oomph in them when they're talking about actually achieving that goal suddenly dies down. So their energy is high towards being a failure or the story of why they're a failure, and the energy towards why they'll be successful is totally different. So that needs to be worked on. So Carl Jung, he is a Swiss psychologist, and he said this: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. It highlights how we almost put ourselves in a position of being the victim, thinking that it's our fate, when actually it's all these things running at the unconscious level that are directing our fate. So if it's within our subconscious, if we're just not consciously aware of it, then the whole point is develop that awareness. We have to come to that stage. And today's session is about helping you to develop that awareness. These subconscious beliefs, they're running at the unconscious level. They're ruining our life. And that's what's creating self-sabotage. And what's interesting is that in one sense, we can say that we are blocking our own path to success. Now, sometimes that's painful to hear. What? I remember saying this to one client, and she immediately said, what? What do you mean? I'm the person who's blocking my own success. I was like, yeah, as painful as it is to hear that. Exactly. Because sometimes we are our own worst enemy. So here's the good news. If we're the one who is in our own way, what's the good news? That means we have the power to get out of our own way. So we can't necessarily control other people, but at least we can direct ourselves. If we're the one in our own way, then we can move ourselves out of the way. So I wanted to explore first before we kind of tackle that. What would you rather? So would you rather not try because you're going to fail anyway? So this is you now introspecting, taking an honest look in the mirror and saying, okay, there's this goal we want to achieve. Would I rather not try? Because then you proved yourself right? You don't feel so bad. You're still not happy. You might even be miserable, but at least you're right. Well, I was going to fail anyway, no point even trying. And here I am in this situation, in the same situation. It's still comfortable. I'm not happy about it, but at least I'm right. At least I don't feel bad that I tried and then I failed at it. At least it doesn't make me feel like a failure. That's what we tell ourselves. Or is it that you might try, but you're not really believing? You try half-heartedly. It's almost like you do it, but then you don't really put your energy into it. And then you might fail. And then you're not disappointed because you predicted it in the first place. You tried with the understanding that, yeah, it may not really work for me. And then when it doesn't work, it's like, oh, I'm not disappointed. Well, I knew I was going to fail anyway. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Is that how you are? Or maybe you try really hard and you actually have the belief that you're going to succeed. And then you still might fail. The mood might be, oh, I get so many learning points from this. Maybe you make so many friends along the way. You have so many wonderful experiences along the way that if nothing else, you learned from and has helped you in other ways. Maybe you didn't quite get that success that you wanted, the exact thing, but there were so many things you developed along the way. Is that your mentality? So if you look at these kind of different mindsets, which one is yours? So if you'd rather not try, or if you're only half trying, what does that show? That we don't believe that we're going to succeed. So Why do we fight for our insecurities? Because we want to be right. We want to prove ourselves right, even if it means being a failure. See, you're a failure. So when we already believe we're going to fail, or even if we already assume this isn't going to work out for me, and it's specifically for me. Yeah, it worked for other people. Oh, other people got married, or other people got that promotion, other people this, other people that. But it's not going to work out for me. So then what happens is our subconscious mind makes it true. See, we attract what we believe. A lot of times people say, there's an expression, seeing is believing. Actually, it's the other way around. It's when you believe, then you'll see it. It's not when you see it, then you'll believe it. Actually, when you believe it, then you'll see it. Then you'll actually manifest it. Then it'll actually come true in front of your eyes. So it's the other way around. So why don't we believe? Now, it requires us to explore or reflect why that might be the case. Where are these unconscious negative beliefs coming from? And then by bringing it to the surface, by bringing it to the conscious, now we can make the change. Now we can start to understand it. Why do I not believe in my own success? What's really going on under the hood? This self-sabotage indicates that there's something going on at the subconscious level that we're not necessarily aware of that is driving our behavior. And sometimes these unconscious beliefs come from childhood. This whole series is the overcoming trauma, and especially a lot of our trauma comes from childhood. And why specifically childhood in this case? Why do those beliefs especially come from childhood? Is because in when we're young, our subconscious mind is like a sponge. And whatever people tell us at that time, we just almost like absorb it because the intellect isn't fully developed. Our maturity isn't there. So when somebody says something about us, especially somebody in a position of authority, like a sponge, we just tend to absorb it. It's like having almost like a whiteboard, and people write on that whiteboard, and we're just absorbing it. And that programming goes into the subconscious, and it leads our life. It runs our life. Then what happens is gradually, as we get to the age of 14, 15, the intellect fully matures and develops. And now we have this, what's called a critical layer. So there's like a filter now. So now when somebody says something, we have the ability to filter what that person is saying. But what about all the years previously? What about all the conditioning, the programming, the negative beliefs that people have said to us previously? Those are still all stored at the subconscious level. And it's very insidious in the sense of we're not aware of it, but it's causing this, it's causing that. And that's running the show. And the whole idea of self-sabotage, when we notice we're doing it, means that we have to look under the hood. What is really going on there? What's there? What programming, what virus, if you like, is there that we need to take out? We need to undo the programming of. Now, sometimes that programming, sometimes those negative beliefs come from directly from other people, but sometimes it indirectly comes from ourselves. Something happens and then we derive a meaning from that event and then create a subconscious belief. And we keep telling ourselves the same thing. And like I said, the key thing is to understand, are those subconscious beliefs from the past still driving your behavior today? So let's look at how this might work. So we'll start with what's going on or what happened. This is especially in the past. Then we'll look at what was the perspective that you took? What was the meaning? Well, how did you interpret that event? And then we'll look at what was the emotional state that interpretation then creates. It's a very powerful process, like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. So we look at the event, we look at the perspective, and then we look at what emotion does that create in you. So let's go through an example. So I've been going through this with one client recently, and he said to me that in his childhood, I mean, he's much older now, but in his childhood, he remembers his mum saying, "I wish you were never born," he had such a horrible relationship with his mom, in the sense of she was really horrible to him. With his sister, who came 2 years later, she was so nice to his sister. But to him, she was saying all these things. I wish you were never born. So as a child, what was the interpretation? How did he interpret that? I'm not good enough. I'm not wanted. I don't deserve to be loved. Now, she may not have directly said those things. In one sense, she didn't need to. Her saying those things, that's what he took from it. There's one thing to know about childhood, or shall we say children, is often when something happens, even if it's not necessarily related to them, a child, because there's a kind of egocentric mood, for some reason, they have this mood that I'm the cause. When something bad happens, they often attribute it to themselves. This is often the case that when parents get divorced, the child thinks it's because of them, even though they did nothing wrong. It's got actually nothing to do with them. If anything, sometimes it's because of the child that the parents even stay together. But the child having that egocentric, like immature egocentric mentality, sometimes interprets something the parents do as something wrong with them. And so we have to identify that. So if this child now has a perspective, I'm not good enough, I'm not wanted, I don't deserve to be loved, what emotional state does that create? Sadness, feeling unloved, lack of belonging, emptiness, loneliness. And what's interesting is that this client currently who was talking about this, he isn't working at the moment, as in he's got himself to a good position where he doesn't need to work at, and now he's kind of spending time at home. All of these unresolved emotions from the past are now coming to the surface. That's why he's come to me. It's like, Nij, I need to deal with this. I've got so many loving people around me, yet I feel emptiness. I'm in a room full of loving people, and so many people in that room, and he feels lonely. Have you ever had that experience where you're in a room, and it could even be your own birthday party or something like that, yet you feel so alone being in that room, even around people that so-called love us? So where does that stem from? It's not stemming from the present. That's stemming from something from the past. And it's often something like this. Some event was there. We interpreted that event as something like, I'm not wanted, I don't deserve to be loved. And therefore it creates that feeling of emptiness and loneliness. Now, even when people are loving us, what's our reaction to that? So often we self-sabotage because there is some underlying belief, some underlying negative belief, which is absolutely against the thing that we're actually trying to achieve. So this is a coaching framework that I use. We start off with your beliefs, because our beliefs drive our emotions. How we feel is often driven by how we think at the subconscious level, what we are convinced of at the subconscious level. So a belief is a thought that drives our emotions. Our emotions then drive our behavior, and then our behavior ultimately drives our results. Now, here's the interesting one that not everybody may realize. Our results, what we are seeing in our life, reinforces what we already believe. And this goes along the principle that the universe gives you what you already believe. Like, in other words, you manifest or you attract what it is you already believe. If you believe something, if you believe, you're going to an interview and you already believe you're going to fail that interview, that's what you attract. The result, when you get that email saying, sorry, we haven't picked you this time, that just reinforces what you already believed. So we want to start off by addressing what are the beliefs. So let's take this one. One of the beliefs this client has, is I'm not wanted. So if we put that into the framework, I'm not wanted, what kind of emotions does that create? So there's that feeling of emptiness. Then, as a result of feeling emptiness, he often isolates himself. He may push other people away, even loved ones. And what does that do? So then he ends up very much alone. Now, interestingly, like I said, That just reinforces what he already believed. I'm not wanted. So life, if you look at your life, it is a reflection of what it is, what's going on at the subconscious level, what it is you already believe. So we've got to start there. So if I take another client, he came to me, this was in 2020. He came to me and he said that he just keeps losing all his money. So, for example, he's gambling the money away, he's reckless, and he had practically zero in the bank. The only thing he had to his name was his car, like a old banger, shall we say, a not very nice car. Even though he had earned so much money. So then we looked under the hood. What's going on? What's the belief? And the amazing thing, this came out. His mum didn't approve of his career. And she had said something along the lines of that money that you're earning doesn't belong to you. And that went into his subconscious. Now, this is not him as a child. This is him even as an adult. But because he gives so much, shall we say, authority to what his mum says, that that comment that she made went straight into the subconscious mind. He absorbed it straight. And so what was happening is even if he was earning a lot of money, he was gambling it away recklessly because the subconscious belief is this doesn't belong to me. So then we sat down and we worked on it. Like, okay, what we're going to change it to. So went along the lines of, I earned the money fair and square. I trained in this profession, in this career, what I'm doing, and therefore the money does belong to me. So ultimately, we brought him to that state at the subconscious level. So sorry, first we did it at the, shall we say, conscious level, and then we installed it at the subconscious level. It's no good just thinking it. We have to energetically program it into the subconscious mind. And so when that belief that the money I've earned does belong to me, once it went in there, it completely changed everything. So as a result, he continued working hard and he kept raising the bar for himself. And then what's interesting is in 2023, he banked £350,000. Some of it he put towards crypto, and then some of it he banked away, some of it he invested in other things. That's how you create permanent change. Remember, we were saying at the beginning, we don't just want to kind of give you some hints and tips which work temporarily, or just, okay, why don't you just do that? As soon as this happens, just do this action. We don't want to do it just at the actions level. We have to go back up the other steps, other layers, and go right to the beliefs level, right to the subconscious level. That's how you create it permanently. Another client, she was saying she wants to be in a loving relationship. She wants to get married. That's her goal. So when we looked at her positive actions, she was doing things to actively to find a partner, seeking a partner. So actively looking on dating apps, and she was even meeting guys. But then when we analyzed further, even on the dates, even when she would meet a guy, she'd be quiet, she'd be closed, she wouldn't show any physical affection. Often guys want physical affection. I'm not saying, shall we say, go all the way. The point is some physical affection to show that yes, we're a couple. Yes, I do love you, or I do like you. In that way, I'm attracted to you. So some physical affection, some of the guys that she was dating wanted. I mean, but she couldn't give it. It's not that she didn't want to. It's that she couldn't. She couldn't bring herself to do it. It was such, like, it evoked such negative feelings inside of her. So we had to analyze this. What's the belief? So some of the beliefs that came out were, I'm not worthy of love. Why would any guy want to be with me? That was her own insecurity. So even if she met a guy that she liked, then especially this would come up. Oh, he's such a nice guy. Why would such a nice guy want to be with me? So what? You want to be with a bad guy? What if I get hurt again? Been in relationships. She's been hurt before in the past. Somebody cheated on her. So like that, what if this person now cheats on me? I like him, but then what if he does that to me again? I don't want to go through that pain again. So all these negative beliefs are running at the subconscious level. Is she going to get into a relationship? So we had to work at it, change the beliefs too. So if we take the first one, I'm not worthy of love, we said, who is it that defines if anyone is worthy or not? Who is it that defines whether you are worthy or not worthy of love? Like, where's that coming? If that's somebody else, who are they to define that? I'll say that to you. Who is it for you that defines whether you're worthy of love or not? If somebody else has said that to you, that's absolute nonsense. Or somebody has done something and you've then defined it. Oh, maybe I'm not worthy of love. It's absolute nonsense. You know, one client, his mum used to say to him, I hate you. So one of the interpretations he took of that is he's not deserved or he's not worthy of love. And we had to smash that out the water for him then to move forward in his relationships. You see? But at the end of the day, who defines whether somebody is deserved of love or not? So when I really challenged her, yeah, she started to think, oh, okay, yeah, I never thought I could challenge that. Why? Because it's at the unconscious level. Then why would any guy want to be with me? Challenge that. And it's like, well, why wouldn't a guy like you? You've got such amazing qualities. So I got her to speak. Okay, what are your qualities? What are the things that you bring to the table? And as she spoke, she started to realize, oh my God, I actually bring a lot to the table. I would make a really good partner, a really good wife. And she'd never looked at it like that before. She always came almost like insecure because I guess nobody's ever actually said those things to her. And I was like, it's not about other people saying it to you. It's about you believing it, you understanding that about yourself. In one sense, nobody's ever experienced, no guy has ever fully experienced that nice side of you because you're so closed off. She was like, all right. So it's about getting her to believe it first. And then what if I get hurt again? Well, change that to every guy deserves a fair chance. No, just because that idiot cheated on you, that doesn't mean the next person is necessarily an idiot who's going to cheat on you. So he deserves a fair chance. Work on it, as in get to know him. So like that changed her negative beliefs. So one thing to understand is we're not just doing this shift at a thought level. It has to be done at the subconscious level. In other words, in one sense, at an energetic level. So if we just think, I want to be rich, or if we just think, I want to be married, or if we, just at the thinking level, we're like, I want to get that promotion. It's all at the conscious level, not the subconscious, just the conscious level. Then that is not actually necessarily going to attract what it is that we want. So the first part of shifting it at the subconscious level is to challenge it. So for example, I'm not worthy or deserving of anything. We spoke specifically about love there, but actually that's true of anything. Being deserving is a made-up concept in our head. Who defines whether you deserve love or not, or whether you deserve success or not? It's your choice. And you can decide to change that choice if you want to. So if it's you that's putting the limitation on yourself, whether you're deserving or not, then it's up to you to take it off as well if you want to. Liberate yourself from that limitation, because there's no such thing as deserving or not. Think about that. If your heart knows that you want something, and that's who you are, it's in line with who you are, then go for it. Who is there in the world who has the right to say, no, you don't deserve it? So let that sink in. It's not just at the thought level. You have to feel it shift at the energetic level. Damn right. Who says I don't deserve it? And when you really start to believe that actually I do deserve it, not just who's stopping me from deserving it, but actually I do deserve it. I put the effort in. Let me put the effort in. Let me do my best. And that's it. There's nothing saying that, oh, I don't deserve it. And therefore I'm holding back from actually taking action even in the first place. So start to allow yourself to make that shift. Allow that nonsense belief that you don't deserve it Allow that to melt away. And deservingness comes from doing the actions and working for it, if you hadn't noticed. Now, if you failed in the past, that doesn't mean you don't deserve it now. What could it mean? So I'm going to ask you to say in the comments, what could it mean? If you failed in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean you don't deserve it, but what could it mean? Yes, so it could mean that you need to work on yourself more. Maybe it's a second chance, so now I'm going to do better in the next time. Maybe it means we need to do something differently. Maybe we need to train harder. Maybe we need to learn more. Maybe we need to find a mentor in that particular skill or whatever it is, or maybe a coach. We have to work on the mindset. The point is, it's not about you not deserving. That's the point. It might mean you have to do something differently, but it's not about you not deserving. That is just a made-up concept. That is just an interpretation that we may have unfortunately kind of put into the subconscious as a child. It's not actually true. Even if it was a parent that said, oh, you don't deserve it, that's still not up to them, at least not currently. That same parent who as a child may have said you don't deserve it, if you look now, it's possible that they might even be saying right now, you do 100% deserve it, and they're pushing you towards that. So this whole deserving thing, melt it away. It's liberating. So when you identify that belief, then the first step is to challenge that bad belief and kind of dissolve it. And then what we want to do is install the new healthy belief. Now, when that new healthy belief is there at the subconscious level, what you'll find is the desired outcome now starts to become attracted to you. Things start happening in your life, and even you will be like, wow, how is this happening? Opportunities open up. You'll meet somebody, you'll speak to somebody, and they know somebody who then introduces you to somebody. So many things can open up, but first it starts with us at the subconscious level, vibrating that to the universe. And as we vibrate that, then what happens is the universe responds, the universe attracts. We attract what it is that we want. The universe responds. The external world is a reflection of the internal world. So what that means is if there's a problem in our external life, then always start by looking at, what am I doing to attract this? I always ask that question when there's things that are going wrong in my life. I always stop to ask, what am I doing that is attracting this? Because that is empowering. Not, oh, woe is me. Oh, life is so difficult and I can't do anything about it. No, there's always something that you can do. Start by looking up here. What am I doing to attract this? Because when you shift things at the internal level, it shifts at the external level.
In this video, we talked about breaking the cycle of self-sabotage by identifying the limiting beliefs that hold us back and replacing them with new, healthy beliefs at the subconscious level. We explored where these beliefs come from, how they quietly shape our behavior, and why changing our actions alone isn't enough. Most importantly, we learned how changing our internal beliefs creates lasting change, because when the subconscious supports our goals, our actions naturally follow. Let us know what you took away from this video in the comments. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it.